understand what is the database, and then we are going to create that one.
So you want paint, okay.
Okay, or better that let's get it created, and in the meantime we will do the theory, because database creation itself will going to take time.
Okay.
Okay, so go back to portal now. And there just type Azure SQL.
Where is the filter by name?
Azure SQL in a search box.
Search box, okay.
Just type SQL. So you get there Azure SQL database, SQL server. So first we have to create a database. So go ahead and create a database. No, server first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so click add. Yeah. So give it a server name TPCS SQL DB. SQL DB. So this is a database server name. We are putting this database in East US region. Okay. So what is the first thing you have to do? You have to
Create a database server. Hello?
yeah, and then below you have to just create admin login. Just say server admin login. So just type there SQL admin, maybe username. Password, give password @123. Good. So networking. So currently it give you an offer that, hey, do you want to protect your server with the firewall rule? I say that currently I do not need that. Thank you very much. So just say next edition setting. Now again, this is a service which will protect your SQL server from any kind of a malified injection. Injection means generally what the hacker does that they hack your SQL database and then they change the data within that. Okay, and this is very frequently happening in US. It was badly affected. So generally hacker hack the database and then they put some kind of a fake entry in the database, or they change the entry in the database. So we call it as an injection. Okay, so if you use Defender, they protect you from known injection, known, you can say, a territory from where the injection happened, like Russia, China, Nigeria. These are the country which are very famous for uh, uh, people who actually do a lot of hacking, right? So they have already marked that one. So I say currently we do not use that. Thank you very much. Go say next. No tag, just say review and create. Click create. So what we are creating? We are creating a server. Correct? It's not a database. So let's the server deployment happen. Meantime, now remember, when you are creating a server, it's a very tedious task, right? But in Azure, you are running this server very easily. Just go to YouTube Go to take place. Click that one, take place. Yeah, after about there is a search box. Just type there SQL. SQL. Just type there. Press enter. Yeah. Just scroll down a little bit. Scroll down, scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll down. Yeah, click that one, online training, SQL installation, step by step. Now, just go up, go in the middle. Go more up, go more forward. I think more forward, little bit. Now look at that. From here we start the installation. Okay. So this installation, if you see, it's very tedious work. It means that if you are only know how the SQL work, then only you can do that, right? Correct. This is a installation wizard. But in Azure, you just give the server name, username, and password, and you are done. Correct.
Mhm.
Right. So this is how the Azure will help the people to, when they do not have a very hard skills, they can still be a database administrator. Right. Just pause this video and go back to your, maybe you can view it later on. Go back to your Azure. It's done. Go to the resource. Go to resource. Now this is a server which you have created. Now you need to create a database. You just go there and click create database. So everything is taken automatically. Just give the database name. Maybe you can type HRDB.
HRP.
HR database. So maybe this database we are creating for HR application, right? DB. Yeah, scroll down. Yes. So just keep this word elastic pool. We will explain that. Currently, I am saying that I am not using elastic pool. Then go to the compute plus storage, click configure database. Now you get that there are many options available to you. For example, do you want a business critical? Does your application is business critical? So when you click the business critical, it will, your server will be very, very fast, but it will charge you very high. Look at the cost this side. You see a cost summary?
Oh yeah, here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is going to charge you in INR almost 25,000 per month.
Mm.
But what it give you in the background? They give you 80 core CPU and 408 GB of memory. Too high. Correct?
So if I start to do the create a database on like on a server, will it charge me or the 30
Yeah,
months
it
is
will
free
charge you.
trial?
Yes. Yes.
30 months is free trial, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. No, for
Okay.
free trial it charge. Nothing will charge in free trial. But for my
So 1
tenant,
month, how many months is it? 3 months or 1 month?
only 30 days.
Only 30 days. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Technically, it is 28 days, because 3 days it will keep your account alive. It will not
Okay.
disable. Just to wait that if you upgrade this one, and after that it will simply disable your account.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Understood? So we can select how much compute power we want in a backend, and accordingly we are going to be charged. So just click apply. Click apply. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm applying. Yeah.
All good now, right? So go ahead and
Yeah.
say networking.
Review and create.
Networking.
Oh, networking. Okay.
So in networking, since we have not selected any firewall rule, nothing we have to change. Now just go ahead and say review and create. Good. Now it's going to take some time. So open MS Paint. Let's understand that how the SQL Server work on Azure. So let's open.
I like SQL Server.
You like SQL Server? Very good.
Yeah, because I have taken classes on Server to SQL Server too.
Oh, that's very good. Then it's easy for you to understand.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
That's good. So in Azure, we have a service called Azure SQL. Okay. What
Yeah.
this Azure SQL says that you have to create a Azure SQL Server. So you have a two component. One is a server. One is the database. So you have one component which is called SQL Server. One component which is called SQL. So again, if you remember, we have four important trade-offs. Can you remind for any services in Azure? Cost and performance.
Performance, yeah.
Then availability, right? Your server should be
Yeah.
up and running 24/7.
Yeah.
Then security, right? Then manageability, how easy to manage, right? So from availability point of view, what the SQL Server say that you can have a server like server 1, server 2, server 3. Why 3 server? Maybe if one server down, you still have a chance to connect this server, right? Your data will not miss. So we can call it as a server 1, server 2, server 3. All these server might be in a different zone. This can be in a East US. This can be in a West US. This can be a Central US. Correct? So even if one region is down, you don't have that. Now, each server, you can have a multiple database. So maybe I just creating one database, but you can create as many database as you can. And then this database can be replicated to another server for the high availability. So let's say, for example, you have a 3 server. You want to replicate 2 database on server 2, 2 database on server 3. In SQL language, whether it is Azure SQL or on-premises SQL, we call it as a database availability. Okay, and we also known as right. Previously, it was also known as failover cluster. What do we call it?
Failover. Okay.
Right. So generally in on-premises, people create a failover cluster, but on Azure, you have a same failover, but we are using actually a feature called database availability group.
So on-premise is the failover cluster, and then on Azure, it's going to be the database availability group.
Exactly. So it means that when we go to an Azure, your database is also configured very good. So when you come to a SQL server, now in a SQL server, you have something which is called as a failover.
Failover group. Okay.
Okay. So when you click that, you have an option to
add group. Okay.
Right. So when you click on add group, you just give it a name, maybe TPCS server group, something, whatever you like. So, oh, sorry. So it is a TPCS server group. And then here it is, you have a chance to configure. You see there?
Yeah.
Secondary server, right? You just click the secondary server. You can create more server, one server, two server. Just you have to hit the click, give the server name. Maybe first one is a HR TPCS HRDB, right? So we can make it like TPCS HR secondary. And then you can give the login name, maybe same login name, SQL admin, give a password, maybe same password @123. So now you have a more than one server, right? In the database group.
Each time we have to create a server, SQL server, or how is it?
Yeah, you done that. Now you have to just select the different region.
No, like when I'm in a company too. Oh, is there like is that a requirement that I have to create a server?
Yes, you might have to. They are only running one server, right? Chances
okay.
that they say that no, now I want to go for high availability.
Oh, okay.
Right. So how you can go and do that, right? So this is the way you have to go and perform the multiple server inside the failover group. Correct? Clear? So this is what the failover group means to Azure. So this is more from a high availability side, right? Now for a database, Microsoft give you a two option. One, run a database on a single server. So let's say this is your server one, okay? Suppose this server one has a 32 GB RAM. And suppose you have a 8 CPU, correct? So if you create one database, currently we just create one database, right? So this database is going to use all 32 GB RAM and a CPU, right? So what will happen if you want to create another database? What will happen? You again create one server. Again, you take 32 GB RAM. Correct? Because your one server is.
You took all of them, so you had to create another one. Yeah.
Right, exactly. That is the problem. So another way, what the Microsoft is now proposing is that you can create something called elastic pool. Okay. In that elastic pool, you might have let's say I have created an elastic pool here. In this elastic pool, I am going to tell that please use this 32 GB RAM and 8 CPU. Now within that, let's say I create 4 database. This is HRDB. This is account DB. This is for marketing application. This is for something else. Now what this all four database will do now, they start sharing this 32 GB RAM. Okay. So if this database require more RAM, all three will provide the RAM to them. After some time, if this database require more RAM, then they will release the RAM which they are not using, and this will start using the RAM. Understand that elastic pool now?
Okay, so they will start to use it, or I don't get it.
Yes. So for example, you have a one room, right?
Yeah.
One room, you have a chance that there is only one person is living, so they occupy the whole room.
Yeah.
Now in that room, we have only one bed.
Okay.
Okay. So either if I am alone, then I am occupying the whole bed. What will happen if there are three more person come? So let's say for an example, I sleep between 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So at that point of time, rest three is working. So they are not disturbing me, right? After 1 p.m., someone else will require a sleep. So I release the bed and they said that, okay, you can come and occupy. So remember, all the database does not run 24/7.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe HR database might be more usage in the morning and evening when the employee come and log in and they check something in the employee portal. Right.
Oh, okay. All right.
In this database, when they will start, when all the finance team come and then they start maybe searching which customer, what they have, right? So might be they are starting. So likewise that if your database, which does not require 24/7 personal attention, you can share the hardware using the elastic pool, right? So it is more in the customer. Otherwise, customer have to create multiple server, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So if your database is not so critical and you can share the CPU RAM between them, then it's an option that you use the elastic. Understood now, right? So this is what the Azure SQL does that. Now I have created a SQL server. I created a database. So I will just come here and type here Azure SQL. It will give me the Azure SQL here, right? When you click that one, you get two things. What? Because Azure SQL contains two things. What is the first one? Server. What is the second one?
Database.
Right. So your Azure SQL contains two parts. One is server, one is
database.
Right? For a SQL server high availability, you have something called failover cluster. For a SQL server, you have something called elastic pool.
Elastic pool, okay.
How the Microsoft is going to charge? Microsoft going to charge as per how much CPU plus RAM plus storage you occupy. They call it as a DTU, data transmission unit. What it called? Data transmission. So for example, you run a query, select star from EMP table. Now let's assume that this return you 5 query, 5 rows. Okay.
Yeah.
So it means that you are going to charge 5 DTU per query. It is going to charge you.
Okay.
If you insert data in one row, so again it is going to charge you 1 DTU. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So this is how the charging happened in the terms of Microsoft. So now you have your server ready, your database ready. Now let's try connect this database So to connect the database, you have an option that you can go and connect using either the Visual Studio, either the
Azure Data Studio.
just click that one. So you have to download that one. So just click download. So click that Windows installer. Before Windows, it is leaking user. Yeah, just click that one. Yeah.
I have used in the Visual Studio.
You have Visual Studio?
Yeah, I have used it because when you work with SQL, you have to use that.
Yeah. Because Visual Studio used to connect with the database as well as the app service.
Yeah, that I've used it. I know.
Yeah, exactly. So there is a separate course. I'm not sure if you heard. It's called Azure Developer.
Okay.
Right. So in Azure Developer, generally we use this Visual Studio, and then we use the database using the code.
Is that for more programming or no?
Yeah, it's a more programming.
Okay.
It's more like a programming.
And also, I had a question. So, what are the certification that I have to take, sir?
So you
Like,
have,
I know
you have to clear at least one certification, seeing your experience. That is called Azure 104.
Do I have to take the 900, the one before that, the Azure Fundamentals?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. Because
So
I thought I had to take that one. I didn't know.
no. Just go straight away with Azure 104, right? And then you have, after some time, you try Azure 303. This is for what the course you are doing. So it is a Azure Architect course. Okay, it is a more
So
high
the
level.
104 is what?
Is a administration.
Administration. Okay.
It's called Azure Architect.
Okay.
So maybe let's say, for example, if you clear this one, then try to clear Azure Architect after April. Take 3 months gap.
Okay.
Because people will then have a question that how you can become architect so fast.
Oh, okay. So first I'll just go for the admin. I'll prepare for the admin one and then take it.
But my question is that how you are going to showcase this one? How you are going to showcase that you have experience? Does your current company have anything to do with the technology, that they are using any technology? Any IT services they are using?
Cybersecurity and networking company. It's like a kind of like that kind of company. Like they have cybersecurity, networking, and all those things.
No problem. Then you can say that you have a responsibility to deploy or help customer do an Azure. So for example, you are not working internal for your company's setup. Okay, you are working for your customer. So your company must have many customers, right? Right. So you can just take that. I have a customer.
No, we only have one customer. That's like we work for the jail system here, Texas Department of Criminal Justice. So that's what we work. That's only our client. We don't have other clients. We work for the government.
Okay. So how will you go and showcase that one? So since it is a permanent job, you cannot showcase also that you work as a freelancer, correct?
Yeah, that I can. I don't think I can.
So how long you are working with this company?
More than a year now.
And before that?
Before that, I just worked in a doctor's office. Because I had a gap. I took a big gap.
So maybe you can do one thing.
Kids.
Maybe you can do one thing. You can say that you work for consulting, okay, before 1 year.
Okay.
Okay. You say that you work as a freelance consultant for us. So
Mhm.
we give you assignment, and that's how you are actually into Azure more. Okay. Because
Okay.
our company is more into consulting business. So we do
Okay.
projects, do a lot of projects. So I will give you some of the customer reference in US. Okay. So you can show
Okay.
that these customers, I was a part of the team, and I actually involved in deploying, managing, securing, automating Azure.
Okay.
Okay. So since you are a freelancer, so nobody is going to ask you salary slip or paychecks or something, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So at last they can only ask you that, okay, just give me any document where your tech pledge is assigning you as a consultant. I will make a document and send it to you.
Okay.
Cool, no? Right. So
Okay.
this
So
is the
that
way.
means I'll probably do the work here, and then I'll just prepare for the admin exam. So with
Yeah, yeah.
admin also I can get into it, or I have to pass the architecture in order to get into it.
No, 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 no. Architect did not need to pass.
Okay. So if
Architect
I
is
pass the
correct.
104, I can apply for something.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Okay.
You can say that you are work as an admin
Okay.
and you support 4 or 5 customers at a time being, right? So
Yeah.
you get assignment on the email, and on that assignment you work. You just after that you raise the invoice, okay, and take place
Okay.
consulting will pay you the money. So it's not regular. It's not that every first you are getting a money. You are not on my salary, right?
Okay.
So in this way, you can say that you have experience, but you do not have a regular company experience, correct? That's why you are trying to now get into the more experience.
Yeah.
Understood, huh? Right? So
Yeah.
this is how you have to showcase your knowledge and experience to.
Okay.
Okay, I think it is getting downloaded. Click that one. Yeah. Click I accept. Next. Mhm. Yeah, just say next. Yeah. Say install. Okay, just click finish. So it will launch a data studio. I think it is it prompting? Okay. Yeah. So here you get an option called new connection, right?
Yeah.
Just hit the new connection. So now it is asking you that what do you want to connect? So you have an all options here. So you just drop down and you say that I want to go with Microsoft SQL Server. Then it's going to ask you that, hey, what is your server URL? So how will you get a server URL? You will get from Azure. Come to your Azure portal. and here this is what the server name you are getting. Okay, just copy this one and paste it there.
Paste it where?
I think it is actually hiding here. Okay,
I know. And this is that one or the other one.
so you have to you have to click on your taskbar, or let me do one thing. Let me close one of them because you are getting too many windows. So it was hiding. Now it's coming here, right? This one. So here, just paste this one, okay? And then what is your Azure username?
Still looking.
Just type SQL admin and the password. Just type password.
So it's password at the rate of 123 or
Yeah.
okay.
And then you get a default. Let's see if you it able to find it out. Now it is asking you to have a Azure account to sign in, right? So let's say that, let's say add an account. It is going to have an account. Oh, it's taking the different one. I'm saying that this one is, and what would be the password? Again, it's a challenge. Hold on, let me remember password one more time. Let me retrieve the password. Yeah, I get that one. So it is. Huh? Oh, this is always a challenge with me, right? Class में yeah, it's the same password. Anything I make miss and spelling anyway? No? Hurrah, we did. Oh, hold on. Let me do one thing. I have just closed this one because our default browser is Google, right?
Yeah.
Oh, just I say add an account. When it go there, I just copy this one and let me paste into that where we are. This one because here I have my credential already running. So it is easy for me. So say we can see now. Yes. Okay, so it said that your account is added successfully. So now
Yep.
we come here. It's added. It's take default directory. Now I say that add my client IP, all good, and just say okay. Oh, perfect. So now let me try to browse the database if I am able to. Yes, I am able to see now, right?
Yeah.
Right. HRDB, say connect. So you are connected now, Priti.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you are connected with your HRDB. Now you can go and run the query. So for example, let me create a table. So I say create, is this language.
Yeah.
So I say employee table and then just say that name varchar 10 and just say age integer. Let's just keep these two and just say run. And once you have that, just click run. So now your table get created. What is saying that? Oh, I given a wrong bracket. Anything else I'm missing?
I think let's see.
Create table.
Create
EMP
table.
table.
Then you put the table, and
Let's say anything else. But it is throwing an error here, right? So if I close this one.
yeah, close that. Like
Oh, okay. Sorry.
yeah, take that one out.
Yeah. Okay. So now it say that your data has been inserted successfully. So I'm able to create a table. Now if I have to insert into EMP table and then I say values and then yeah, then what the values we have in a name. Let's say I say that Preeti and age. Let's say I say that 23 and I just try to run that one. So it will say run, right? Now I can change this one. So it can be, let's say anything else, maybe Robert. And I have something which is, let's say 33. But where it is, all the data is running, right? It's running on cloud, right?
Yeah.
Select that, select a star from EMP table. So when I run this query, it will show me the two data. Correct?
Yeah.
Right? So this is how you can work on SQL. You do not have to install any server. You do not have to prepare your server, right? You do
Yeah.
not have to configure the database. Everything is a wizard base. This is what makes the Azure more easy, both from user and administration point of view, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So this is how it is. Now we are going for a break and we are meeting on 4th.
Fourth. Okay.
Okay.
And if
So
you can download the other videos
yeah, I will.
whenever you have time. Yeah.
Before going
I'll
for
create an
vacation.
account and I'll just um I'll create a Azure account and I'll go from the beginning.
Yeah, you have to go for a beginning. Yes, there is no choice.
Yeah.
Correct. So you have to go for a beginning. So what the best practice say that, right click that, go to the all resources, right? Then
Yeah.
you will get all resources here, select everything and then just select edit and just say yes. Just say that it by default create a storage account. Why? Because I told you that no matter which service you are using, if it use a storage, by default it use the Azure storage, right? So
Yeah.
SQL to store your data, they are also using the Azure storage. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chalo, see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.